Hi, this is Tutor Nit-Picking, and this is Word Origins 9. The word origin today is nitpicking. Alright, let's take a look at the note. The origin of the phrase nitpicking comes from the job of having to remove the tiny eggs of lice, which are called nits, from someone's hair or clothing. So if you've ever known somebody that got lice in their hair, especially people that live near farms, a lot of animals, the countryside, a lot of times we think people are not, maybe they haven't been cleaning enough, and the kids get nits, or adults, anybody could get nits in their hair. They get lice in their hair, and the lice will lay eggs, and those eggs are referred to as nits. Okay. This is considered to be a tedious task, so very difficult task. If you are actually pulling one by one of the eggs off of somebody's head, that would be a tedious task. I think now, obviously we probably wouldn't do like one at a time. I think they actually have some special liquid you put in your hair and you can try to comb them out. But if you were actually removing them one at a time, which is probably what they did in former times, it's a very tedious task, very difficult. Look, small detail, looking for small things. That's what we mean. So it's considered to be a tedious task that requires a lot of care and attention. So remember, nit is a type of pest. Let's continue here. The 1951 Oxford Dictionary started using nitpicker, the word nitpicker, to mean a person whose job was to study papers and find small flaws, small mistakes in meanings and use of expression. So maybe a newspaper might hire an editor to look over everything and make sure all their writers aren't using some words incorrectly. So they might say, well, according to the dictionary, you really shouldn't be using that word in that situation. It doesn't really quite mean that. So, but maybe some of the writers might think that the person is nitpicking. They're only picking on small details. Maybe it actually is close in meaning. So they might consider that the nitpicker to be annoying. So maybe this is the idea of where it originally came from. Okay, so let's continue. The term now means someone who criticizes in an eager way about small or insignificant things, or giving too much attention to small details, meaning that's just a small thing. You don't need to be so fussy about this one little small detail. So you feel like somebody is nitpicking. All right, let's just give some examples of typical ways that we use one form or another of nitpicking. So look at number 1 here. My mom is always nitpicking about every little thing I do. Yeah, that's a common one you might hear, especially some kid complaining about his mom or father or parent or a teacher, somebody like that. Let's look at number 2. My boss is a real nitpicker. Yeah, a lot of people might refer to their boss. Maybe you think you did your work, and maybe they're picking on some little small details about your work that you think that's not really that important. Why is he giving so much attention to that? In that sense, you might say somebody is a nitpicker. Okay, good. And number 3, stop nitpicking on every small detail. If you continue to do this, we will be here all day. Yeah, meaning that we'll never get the work finished if you nitpick on every little detail or on every insignificant thing that you don't like. Okay. Anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it's clear. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.